Any more questions? One in the front and then we'll pass to the back.
My name is Divine Mahara. So I've learned when you're talking that like there are a lot of emotions that you put in the music, but I'm gonna ask, my question is gonna be centered on two emotions, the sad one and the happy one.
Yeah.
So how do you, what convinces you that this music is gonna be sad and this is gonna be happy? So for example, in my, like for my playing of guitar, I've overheard people saying, if you play minor chords, you're likely to have a sad song. And if you play major chords, you're likely to have a happy song. So are those emotions centered on how the music is being played, how the notes are being played, or who is doing it? Or is it kind of...
manipulating the parameters of music, taking melody, harmony, chord structure, instrumentation, whatever, taking keys to define a particular emotion is just by the by. Rachmaninoff in a piece called Vocalese, if you go listen to it, it's in major keys. One of the saddest. It makes me cry. It's not in a minor key. You know, there are no rules and laws about whether it's the intent, it's how the harmonies are put together, how the other parameters are put together that dictate the overall emotion that you derive from the film. And a good composer knows how to weight it. If it's over emotional, it can be sentimental. You know, you're sentimentalizing it. You're turning people away from an emotion if you're over the top. Just to be able to judge the weight of the emotion you want to put in that music to reflect on from the film is something you get through time. You're practicing. But practice scoring, the reason why I need to keep scoring is I learn every single day. But the short answer to your question is major, minor, it doesn't matter. Aeolian key, all the Dorian modes, anything, you can write in any key. Happy piece or sad piece. It depends on how skillful you are at being able to manipulate those parameters. Understanding the parameters and then being able to do it. Practicing your craft, that's all it is. But there's no hard and fast rule about major or major being happy and minor being sad. No.
And just another quick note, Divine won Zimbabwean Idols and is playing at the Waterfront, a consummate artist, someone to look up, so a round of applause. He understood. I had the good fortune of judging and working on the Waterfront. They've got a wonderful busking program. I don't like it, the word busking, an artist program. Look up, he's on Spotify, he's on all the playlists. He did a wonderful song called Sorafina, and saw the light and listened and walked in. Because Mark's going to allude to it in his talk just now about luck, when luck strikes you and whether you pick up the hints. And you've all picked up the hints of what's being expounded here. And a quick round of applause sitting in the middle. Mark Rosen, CEO of Samro, has joined us as well. So, someone had a question. Was it you, Dylan?
Hi there. So my name is Dylan. I'm a singer-songwriter and, well, a bit of a guitarist as well.
Is that your name or surname?
Sorry?
You're not related to the Bob.
I was named after you.
Oh, fantastic. Good start.
So my question is more, I mean, I'm predominantly a performing artist. And it's sort of a two-part. There's one is, I mean, when you went at, I think 17, when you went to UK, how receptive were they?
60s, do you mind?
How receptive were they to you as an artist, or coming from South Africa, bringing your own sort of flavor to things? Because I mean, I think for a lot of, especially performing artists, is something we always consider is like, oh, should we go there? And is it something that is, I mean, a lot of people say, okay, yes, do it. But I mean, how receptive are they actually? And I mean, how logistically difficult is it to sort of do that? To just kind of go there and just start performing? Because, I mean, obviously now also with Brexit and things are a little more complicated than usual. But
do you know, this question is the domain of this gentleman here. What he doesn't know about African music and its commercial, I don't want to say commerciality, but its place in the whole output of world music. He knows about the way in which artists succeed. He's managed and been responsible for so many African artists, not only South African, but African artists. And he'd be able to tell. I'm going to say to you that from my point of view, when I went to England, I was no different from any of the other kids coming to that institution from all the different parts of the world. You know, South America, Japanese, Chinese, everybody's like a hodgepodge of international talent, dare I say. And God knows what I was doing there. And I said, no, seriously, it's not false humility. I actually thought someone's going to find out. You know, this is awful. They're going to know I know nothing. And so my breaking point was when I talk about 10,000 hours of putting into your craft. You know, I had an uncle who I adored, and he was in theatre. He was in rep in Scotland. And he called me and he said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm a bit sort of in crisis, frankly. I'm freaking out because I'm, you know, I'm not. I need to work." And he said, "There's a caravan in the garden in the middle of Scotland, bloody cold country, and there's a caravan there. There's a vegetable plot. Come and tell your professor you're dropping out." So I went to Scotland and I practiced, set myself strict times, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening, the breaks, the gaps, very regimented, very organized, plotting what it was I needed to learn, to know about it. I didn't know about this, so how can I improve that or whatever? I went through a systematic way of educating myself, and the most bizarre thing happened. From being the worst student in my class, because I always felt that, whether it was or not, I don't know, but from being, in my estimation, not as good as my peers, to winning the gold medal for performance in my year, and the other guys who I looked up to failing, blew me away. And it just goes to show that 10,000 hours of total commitment to sitting there, committing yourself to saying, I can fool everyone else around me, but I'm not going to fool myself. And it's setting your own bar. You're not in competition with the rest of the world. You're not in competition. You're setting your own, the bar is where you set it, where you want to be. And, you know, the weird people say, "Why are you still scoring?" Well, frankly, the more I learn, the more there is to learn. The more I discover, oh my God, I wish I had another life, because, you know, I can see this art form, this craft going forward. I'm looking at my young students at the film school or at you know, academic institutions I talk, and I'm thinking, I really envy you, your time, because if I could do it all over again, you know, there's so much to do out there. But the acceptance of a South African artist is entirely Mark's domain. And I'm blaming for whatever he comes up with. The fact is that you must remember South Africa has played a very big part in music throughout the last few decades. I mean, we have international artists. We had Ladysmith Blackman, Mambazo, we had Hugh Masekela, we've got giants, world giants in music. So just proclaiming us to be a little parochial sound, or how we're going to be accepted in the real world, as I was saying, my darling Sibakazi mentioned this, you know, we have to look at the UK and the UK as a third world country compared to us. I've got fast band, fast fiber optics and sound stuff. I can't get my BBC Radio 4 in the middle of England, in Suffolk. You know.
We can teach you all about politics. Oh, no, we can't.
No.
I think it's a really nice high note to end on about Trevor's 10,000 hours, but he talked about Angel Heart. I just want to play it 7 minutes long, Harry's Angel, so people can hear what they were talking about before I bring you up, Mark, to give a segue and some stories. Trevor, I don't know if you want to say something about Harry's Angel. Have you seen it? It's on one of your streaming services. It's going ching-ching at the moment.
I hate to sound the Luddite that I am, because I love to give the impression that, you know, I'm a man with a finger on the pulse of technology. But I never look at the internet unless I'm trying to get online banking.
Play some music.
But no, I can't for the life of me. Who's Harry? Harry Angel. Sorry.
Hello. Yes, this is Harold Angel. Well, yeah, I could be free.
Allow me to introduce my client, Monsieur Louis Safra.
Hi, Harry Angel.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Angel. Do you by chance remember the name Johnny Favorite? You never knew him?
Am I supposed to know him?
He was a recruiter before the war, quite famous in his way.
You want me to check it out? Time for evening fix?
I'm a doctor. I'm perfectly entitled to give pharmaceuticals and all.
What do you want with me?
Information about Johnny Leeton.
I vaguely remember treating a patient with that name many years ago. I haven't seen him since he was a patient anymore.
Look, Doc, you're in a cold sweat. Huh? Look at you. Can't wait for me to leave here so you can rate the goodies in the icebox. And the sooner you get out with it, the sooner you can shoot yourself to Palookaville. No, I didn't kill him. But the cops might think I did.
Well, you know what they say about slugs.
No, what do they say about slugs?
They always leave slime in their track.
Any closing thoughts? That's your words, Trevor.
I haven't heard that for 40 years.
Yeah.
Since I did the album for Mark. We had Courtney Pine.
He was one of my artists.
He was one.
Sax
You
player.
introduced me to him.
Yeah.
Along with Andy Shepherd.
And Andy Shepherd, yeah.
It's an amazing bunch of
Yeah.
musicians you had on your books at the time. Amazing.
Was that Courtney Pine doing both saxophone parts?
Yes. Here's the thing about that session is it was in Angel Studios in Islington. Weird thing was that Alan Parker had grown up in the council estate behind the studios. And we walked into the studios, Angel Studios, recording studios, and he said behind that wall there, if you pull that curtain across, you'll see a window onto my bedroom in the council estate. And,
Was it a former church?
Yeah, the studios was. It was a chapel that he and his father and uncle had painted when they were, you know. So I said, so you're a council estate kid? He said, yeah, you know, came from nothing and wanted to be a film director. So I said, it was amazing. So we pulled the curtain and looked in through this window, and lo and behold, there was the bedroom of Alan Parker as a little boy. So we sat and I thought, this is amazing. The man has arrived in a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce to, you know, council place, you know, dreams, hey, destinations, working out where you want to get to. And he said, so, what do you think of the track? I said, well, I've only used 12 strings, and it's just basic synths. And I've taken tape and looped it. In those days, we didn't have computers.
Synclavier, you have that.
And the Synclavier just, yes, come to life. And I'm still, as you can hear, trying to find my on-off switch. So, really, the situation with Alan Parker was that he said, well, I said, well, what do you think of the track? With those images, Robert De Niro, Mickey Rourke, what do you think it's announcing their performance? And he said, I think it's great. I think it's great. And we looked at each other and I said, but I've got a sort of off-the-wall idea. I've written this tune, it goes on top, and there's space in the middle I want to keep to have a noodle. Have some, the saxophonist, Courtney Pine, come in and play those notes where I intended, but then in this section here, I just want to explore what Courtney can bring to this vibe that I'm trying to create here. Well, Courtney comes along, and it's
such a lovely man.
Courtney's one of the most consummate musicians you've ever, and it was typical of Island Records to invest in artists in those days. There is no hope in hell that Trevor Jones or Courtney Pine was ever going to recoup the money that that Island Records was investing in that. We had Robert Palmer, how many years? 20 years, being developed in Jamaica. It was Jamaica, Nassau in the Bahamas, where they used to send me to go, and it was a tough life, send me to go and master an album or work on an island film soundtrack or something. So, you know, Robert Palmer then comes up 20 years later, nothing, turns this song he did into a major global hit.
And then quit on us.
And then he oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's surprising. The tickets are love gone.
God. Oh, man. So, anyway, Courtney Pine is standing there at 10 o'clock at night, and he plays my bits. And then I said to him, Courtney, do you think you could possibly kind of, you know, just listen to the bits that I've left blank? Is there anything you feel you can noodle over this to, you know, contribute to the vibe of this cue? And he said, sure. And we enjoyed it so much, where Courtney put on one take, next take, and then new reels were found. Okay, Courtney, can you possibly, you know, we're spoiled for choice and we don't know what to do. Can you do it again? Yes, fine. Can you turn the lights down a bit? He says. Turn the lights down. All we can see is our reflection in the control room of the glass in front of us. I'm seeing Alan going, wow, he's an amazing player, you know. And we're both sitting there, engineer, Alan and myself, and we hear the sound coming out of the thing, take after take after take, and God knows what hour of the night it was, you know, well past midnight, and I heard Courtney Pine say, okay, I'll do one more take, and then I'm just going to go to the loo. And so he's like, okay, there's one more take, and the lights are off, can't see him. So we're sitting there, and Alan says, he really did have to go to the loo, didn't he? He's really taking his time. Well, the lights went up and Courtney had skedaddled. He'd gone home. He'd had enough of Trevor Jones and Alan Parker enjoying a private concert at his expense. The guy was so great, you know. I just couldn't stop listening. And kept thinking, oh, have you got another take in here? You know. So anyway, that's the story.
And on that high note, we're going to say an incredible thank you to Trevor. Trevor's not going anywhere.